What I was doing tomorrow.
Yeah, wasn't that, no, sir. We didn't have feedback. We just had a lot of ambient noise. Okay, you won't need to use the microphone on Zoom. We'll be picking up your audio from this machine. Okay. Yeah. Double check, we should be live. We're live. It's muted, okay. Ready? Okay. Got you all set. You should, like we discussed earlier, should be okay. Have everything available in PDFs. All right. Got it.
Get used to your funky little mouse here, but. Yes, please. I don't know whose lunch was forgotten, but Sheila had to make a one to Jane. Sheila has run to go get it. She should be back shortly. I heard her making the call.
You know, it's far reading. So I'm not the one having to go and run around like. Well, I'm sorry, because I didn't call back from there. I just went up to the birthday village real quick. Sam not coming?
He's here.
Oh, he got his lunch.
I think he just took his leftover stuff or his trash to the Brian.
He's not coming?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I see this one.
Did you just hustle for his lunch too?
No, his lunch is here, but if I don't, I definitely would not afford his from the rookeries. Thank you.
What did he get? I bet he got some better than me.
He got some chicken fingers. You want some? You want romaine? You want some chicken fingers? Ken would like some chicken fingers.
I'm about to say, yeah, Ken probably go.
Yes, we do.
Ken or Greg. Greg's in there.
Man, all the multis plans we've got, those are proposed plans, right? Because we guys, ever did what will happen approved,
Hey, Josh.
They were in the original. I don't know if they're in the ones that made it. They're not doing all the original stuff.
If you'll turn your speakers off.
Okay, I've got to get to where he's got the original stuff because that's probably where they are.
Yeah, they should be.
And Ken Fowler, It's not as big, but, you know, I don't know what original stuff is. This is what was previously approved. This is at the Highlands. This is at the Highlands. Kinsale, they don't, they didn't see it actually, they said that they would be comfortable for the houses. And they- However, it's totally within itself, and inadvertently, we should.
Test, test, test. Check. 1, 2, 3.
But this is the Highlands, what was approved there. These are what was approved at the Highlands. And this is.
Okay, so this microphone is hot.
This microphone's hot for the
Storage.
base. This microphone is hot for the. Yes.
Not just a covered suit. No, that.
Yeah. You drawing this out.
Get back.
It's off. Then let's do this.
Coal Creek, and then Skyhawk is out at Flicker.
Okay, you're good to go.
Hey,
Jim, look,
I can't get on.
look at shit. It's a 15.
I don't think I have the originals from out there.
Let's see what it's saying.
I don't think we scanned the originals, yeah.
This is Cold Creek. That's on
This would be
the right access.
the guest access. It should be faster.
Yes, the speed of shade on the side of the house.
Siding, usually, most of it's been like in the gable area.
Oh. Randy will show you what the original was. It did have an upper,
Ayers, North, yeah.
Thank you.
reading that, just trying to figure out what that is.
Okay, on the Glen Ridge, Skyhawk Lane. We get to the. We go down, and look. the homes that have been built out there. There's the stone. It's hardy wood, what was approved, and broker stone years with side entries, majority of. And it's a totally different home. That's proposed. I just don't, it's not like these are several hundred homes. And even the ones on the small lots and more like this. Where you can at least some. My fathers, they would be. So I didn't. It's the things that they sometimes it's it's not free that we do, but all which is different than what we put the draw on. Here it looks so good. Yeah, it needs to be symbolized. Yeah. And there's a good way to get a variety. They're showing in Washington, which they will tell you that we can have interiors. The planning, you know, we don't really try to have some of the economy. She's got to get stuff downstairs, but I wanted to say, dear, I'm Southern, I know what flesh heartburn is. Everyone, let me know what you need, bless your heart. Anyway. They're not bless the heart.
What about them, all that money? Not sure it's going to be there.
I don't think it will. I can't believe you going to do that. And not have somebody actually do it besides yourself, do it. It is a, what, open house, or your neighbors, or, you spend how many money, doesn't mean you don't need doing it.
Yeah. And they're going to apply engineers to that.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, and when she, before they put it up, you know, they put four ham radio titles up there, right? And all these variants and stuff, they just listen, and that's why she's blessing my heart. But I don't blame my neighbors, I've been upset too. If you want to do it, I mean, if you want to hold, basically, ham radio in the home, in the backyard, you don't need to do that.
I don't know that still, because it's looking in that all day. It was a, you know, something like that.
And that's right, and that's your other stuff, it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
You live with the time zones, it's not a problem. This is grandfather, Saturday. Melissa, my daughter-in-laws, her dad's parents were both very sick, and both had COVID. They were already in the hospital before they got COVID. And he passed away, so don't expect a lot for Miss Joanna. And so that she was, she can still have a conversation, but she's not. Thanks to COVID, there's no gathering thing either. It's gonna do a great side, it's very important. That's what it is. I was glad.
Oh,
They said they talked to them, they've gotten further to finish the work, you know, they wouldn't even do another form, so it's recorded, it's, you know, not recorded, it matters, all of them. The existing one. That was the easiest thing.
well, let's make sure we start with Zoom.
And we're ready, I mean, let's see, I just get it right here. We do it, hit record. We're live on YouTube. So. Okay, so the server wasn't down for Zoom. That was my alternative tomorrow. Whatever you want to do.
Madam Chair, do you want to go to the agenda or?
Okay, yeah,
I don't have an agenda report today, but we're there. On the agenda.
okay. All right, I'll open pre-meeting.
Let's hit record.
We got some changes, and you got the agenda, I think, but we've moved to ratification, item 4, which is variance on Brookford Road and certificate of appropriateness on Calhoun, that's been moved to ratification. Conditional use on Industrial Boulevard, that's also moved to ratification. And then number 11 is variance on Lower Thomason for a pool. And that's been moved to ratification. So we're going to hear 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Item 1, 2, and 3 involve housing developments that were done in either PDE or AAA. And we'll handle one at a time, but these are projects that got started and then as a result of economic stresses in 2008 and all that, they went bankrupt. And so we've got a developer, the same for all 3 items that are bought up with project profits, and they're bringing to us house plans and designs that are different than what was originally approved under the plan development requirements. And I'm gonna let Randy go through kind of details for each one. Some of them are subtle changes, which I'm less concerned about, but what staff is more concerned about, and I don't have the actual figure for this, but we approved homes back in the early 2000s that were, I don't know, $150 square foot, and he comes back, and they want to build something that's less quality. That's what I'm concerned about. Now, so that's a judgment call, I guess, on, what the lesser quality is. So, Randy, you want to kind of go over the details?
Yes, so, all the homes are basically the same plan, for all 3 subdivisions. We have, Coal Creek Parkway is the, Highlands off Ayers and North Montford. We have Kinsale, which is off Pineworth, and we have, Sky Hall Plain, which is out at Quail Ridge off Aspen. And the,
Can you show them what was originally?
right, the Highlands, this was originally, I think it's, yeah, these are the original plans for that development.
And notice that they have porches.
And I'm gonna go to the Google.
What was the exterior finish on those?
They are hardy plank and,
Real shingles.
yeah,
Okay.
and even, they all have porches, even the small ones have a through porch. They're a mixture of attached and detached homes out there. Various types of them. The ones they're proposing do not have, they're vinyl. They show some details on some of the plans that appear to be shake.
Do any of the original plans have front-facing garages?
Some do, yes, some do. And at the Highlands, now they don't on Quail Ridge. But
Most of the Highlands, they have a asset there, that.
some do, some don't. Some do, some don't. It depends on which little section it was.
Did you say that you and the vinyl fiber?
They're totally vinyl. And even the detailing, they show some that show some shake, but it
Probably
doesn't
vinyl
say
shade.
anything about, yeah, I'm thinking they're vinyl shade. And they don't have porches, they say porch here, but basically it's the cover of the street. It's just the entryway, they're not true.
They're not, you can't sit out there.
Right. You could, but you're not gonna have more than one person, it's not all, the way it looks. And essentially, all the plans for all three subdivisions are pretty much the same plans. At Kinsale, there was nothing else. At Kinsale, it's not as big a concern there. That's the one I'm on. But at the Highlands and at Quail Ridge, it is concerning because they just don't, you know, if we go to,
Well, I don't see it. Coal Creek Parkway is number one and number two on Skyhawk Lane. Those were developments that weren't completed. The third one, Kinsale,
Was never started.
never started.
it got built, but it never got, no building, you know, it got, the infrastructure was there, and it was platted, but there were no homes were ever constructed.
So that's really the easy one.
That's the easy, yeah, that one, staff at Andy Harper on that one. The ones that have existing homes there and designs and styles, for instance, at Quail Ridge, the Skyhawk Lane, I think there are 132 is what I counted that have homes built on out of the 300 and something that was platted. And they're all, these don't look like them. They have side trees, bodyboard, and brick.
Can you show us what was approved for Skyhawk Lane?
Skyhawk Lane, I don't have the actual plans, it listed them out. And I could not look at the actual plans, but I can show you what has been built.
Yeah.
And
The Skyhawk Lane, the dominant part of town.
that's a party front and brick front. Not to do this mouse.
In opposition,
We've not received any complaints or any opposition. It's the
That's
staff's
surprising.
concern.
There's an HOA out there, isn't there?
There was, I'm guessing there still is, I don't really know. These are the homes, that's the rear of some of them. Go. See that one has a front entry down at the end of Pheasant.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to it. Into the cul-de-sac, I'm trying to get to Skyhawk.
Then the crowd on Oakview.
No, that's Bridgewood.
Yeah.
This is all house with the church Walden.
Okay.
So. Okay, me and this mouse do not get along.
It's real interesting.
Side entries. You can see the styling of the house. The roof and stuff is much different than
And the other thing is the lots to be developed with the new plans are mixed in with the existing housing
Exactly.
stock. So you said Kinsale has nothing, but even Skyhawk and Cold Creek, it's not like self-contained portions.
no, they're gonna be interspersed, 250.
There's a whole bunch of those lots right there not developed.
I'm gonna go to Q Public real quick.
I wonder what's going on. Have values just not held out there? mean, because you'd want to build to the comps of what's there, right? Which makes me think that values aren't.
Yeah, that's the question, I'm not, I don't know, I know those lots have been sitting for a long time, and, I'm sure the developer picked them up at a.
Right, but I mean, one of the, I don't know if you can reduce the quality of the house enough to meet a market that's not there. You know what I mean? So like if values have fallen off that don't justify the quality of the housing that was developed originally, there may not be a quality of housing for which there's a market for it to develop out there at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the only things I see on Zillow right now are
this is
pre-foreclosure.
250 right here. This is 248. That's the one we were just looking at.
When was the last time it sold?
Let's see. Two 2007.
Oh, yeah, okay, so that's one of the original ones, right?
Yeah, there's
219 and 2007 for how many square feet?
That is,
Yeah.
that's
2606,
2606.
which ain't good. I mean, you couldn't build for that now.
Yeah, the sale
Assuming it's
price
even
was
still worth as
289.
And how many square feet was in there?
2606.
84 square foot. All right, go
Yeah.
back up to the subdivision and click on it and,
And this is the house.
say, show me sales.
Okay. Let me get back out of there. Hold on. Try not to kill Josh there. Let's see.
Yeah, they're not
Your
good.
cell search or here?
Just come out and then go over to the left here and say, yearly sales, click on yearly sales, which is the fourth one down in the middle.
Okay.
Find one that's improved, that is sold out there. Well, it's showing it's not much is selling out there.
This one, let's see what year
All
that,
right, there you go. There's a couple over there on Bob White.
yeah. That one.
Oof. There's the problem.
Yeah, I think there were, some of these were foreclosures that got sold really.
2,200 square feet for 162.
Where it was originally,
52,
originally it was 178.
152. How many square feet? I can't remember.
2,200 round up.
2208, yeah.
73.
Yep.
74.
You can't build anything for that.
All right, let's try another one. Let's do this one. All right, so, I don't see anything that sells up.
On Bob White, there's.
So there's one kind of
There you go.
behind
There's
here.
one.
This
There's one.
is the
Click on
sky.
it. Was that the one we looked at?
Yeah, no, that's a
That's a
different one.
180.
That is
2,500, so it's
2555.
gonna be as bad or worse.
Yeah. So for 179.7,
$70.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's bigger too,
Yeah.
yep.
still.
And what's the going rate for square feet now?
You can't build for less than $100.
Mm-mm. And see,
Even
this
those
is the
even
house,
this
so
vinyl
look.
siding stuff, I can't imagine, right? Ashok's shaking his head. Even the vinyl siding stuff's not gonna get you down to $100.
Well, you can't get it now.
So
Yeah.
that's the house that's sold
I'm
for,
doing some housing and it's coming about 110, 115.
Right.
on the side.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I mean, alternatively, I sort of understand why the homeowners who are out there are not up in arms, because being in a PVC farm probably isn't real helpful either, right?
Right.
I mean, they probably would rather have even lower quality homes than empty lots. But man, those values, they're not gonna come, they're not gonna appraise. Right?
But
I don't know anything about houses, but I would say no.
Yeah, because those houses sold on Park Road, those houses are that whole subdivision.
I mean, that would be my thought. Is the first time you list one of these houses, even if you can get an offer at $110 a square foot, it's not going to appraise and close.
You're going to get the.
Yeah, because that's where they're gonna get the comp from.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to adjust them a little bit, but I don't know that they're gonna adjust them.
Well, there'd be some detrimental.
20 to, huh?
What do you call the bad adjustments? There's going to be some bad adjustments
Yeah.
too because of the quality. Negative.
Yeah, even in the smaller lots in Quail Ridge, not a whole lot, most of those are built out. There are a few that aren't, but, among those, you haven't had a whole lot of fun.
That's because they can't get the money out of it.
This is complicated.
Putting the house on the subdivision, it help the people who are there now. Once it's damaged, it's gonna help them. The new house will sell a lot more than $43.
No, but if you can't get it to appraise,
But that's not going to sell at all.
then I can sell it all.
So what was it to the overall complex?
If they could get it built, it would bring it up, but you gotta get it to appraise to get it, you gotta get a lender who's willing to see the big picture.
Or some early buyers who'll bring a lot of cash. It's hard to imagine that.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
I went to the
So
website.
will we be doing them a favor by approving this, or disservice?
I'm not so.
It's really hard to tell, both
It
in
is.
terms of the existing homeowners who are out there and the community as a whole. Because, I don't know, the reason we have so many big boxes is moving people into further dispersed areas.
Yeah.
But we've already platted this thing, so I feel like that horse is out of the barn.
Do we know that, is any of this pre-sold, or is it all gonna be spec?
I think raw spec.
Okay.
I won't swear to it, but I think raw spec.
I don't know.
Well, the one that doesn't have any houses in it,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, that's
Because I think they'll be okay, because they'll go somewhere, they can go somewhere
They'll have
else.
to go somewhere else for
They have
comps.
to go somewhere else for comp. But within this subdivision, I don't know what they do.
The other things the other thing to keep in mind, I guess, is they do have a set of plans that are available by right? I mean, they can go build spec houses all day long
Yeah,
based on that.
that.
House plans from 10 years ago.
So, yeah, so long as they, same material and design fit in, we're good.
Then they're going to go look at the appraisal. The building with the Hardy and same on and all that, they don't know.
So we go, they would have to make a decision with cost effective to do it, not right?
Yeah. That probably would, I'm interested to hear what they say, but that sounds like a better solution to me, is to leave the approval in place as it is for the two existing neighborhoods.
I'd probably sit down and cry and do a swan dive off my roof if I were one of those houses that were already out there.
What now, Randy?
I said I might want to do a swan dive off my roof if I were one of those houses that were already out there.
No matter what we
That went next
do?
door, and that went next door.
That's my thought too.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's worse for the values, being next to 8 empty lots, being the only house on the street, or being next to something that's,
Significantly varied in quality.
I think I would rather have an empty lot. And I could agree here.
Again, the question for the developers, we would ask is why? Why do you
Right.
feel what's approved? And, maybe we look at some material changes and get the cost down or something.
So long as the design is similar.
Either that, if he's gonna buy them, he just needs to wait a while till
Yeah.
the economy's up and running again and prices come down a little bit.
Right.
Would be a question, is he already bought?
I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't know if they have options
Well, all
on
those
all these
lots
lots.
What's cheap, Dean?
So it's been sold.
What year?
That's right. That's what I was trying to see. What year is it telling me? Where's my legend? Where's my legend, Gene? Do you know where it is on here?
Just click on the, bring up the card for that one that you've got highlighted. All right, go down to ownership.
17.
Okay, so South Bibb Capital Holdings purchased multiple parcels in 17. So they've been waiting a while to do something. And maybe, I don't know if that's who this is or not, whether
Let's see.
they've sold out to somebody else. If it has, it's under contract or just happened.
Looking at Zillow recent sales, there are 3 that cracked 200. They're all portion development on Skyhawk, and they're
That's also
4,000, 5,000,
Mm-hmm.
260.
Yeah.
5,000 square, that's 42 square.
Mini mansions.
That's a big house.
That is big now. All right, well, we just have to ask.
That is part of that block, that 250 Skyhawk is part of that pink block that we're looking at.
Y'all were saying that there wouldn't be a square foot cost to build the houses that are there now, to match the houses that are there.
Oh, God. 125, 30 square foot. Like that.
But that's pretty standard, right?
That's just what it costs to build.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough differential in construction costs to meet this market where it is. You can't go anything for $75 a square foot or 85. The only thing you can do is like what we did in Bells Hill, which is you just take a beating on the first 5 sales. And you lose a tremendous amount of money trying to edge up the comps at $5 a square foot. That's only if the market's there.
Right.
Well, interest rates are so low right now.
No, that's under 3%.
You just, you don't know what people do.
And inventory is so tight.
Mhm.
Said I need to restart.
But I mean, those are
recording,
such short, I mean, it's.
Short term.
Right, you're looking at, you've got a crystal ball, you're a year out from this product being delivered to market, so. Are those same advantages gonna persist that long?
Well, the interest rate is supposed to stay low for an unforeseeable length of time. So,
I just had a person this morning to refi. See what it's saying now.
mhm.
Well, we got the questions we need to ask, right? What makes you think the market out there is, why is this product meeting that market better than the previously approved product? Why can't you build the previously approved product?
Are there properties out there for sale, houses out there for sale?
Not a lot.
It's like you say, the inventory is just so low right now.
There are 2,
They're eventually for the house.
Yeah,
the only stuff for sale out there are 2 pre-foreclosures,
okay.
right? Which that's part of the problem too right now, is
Yeah.
foreclosures not hitting the market. So I don't think it's a problem, that's the market reality.
Okay, Jim, let's move on. We got more questions than anything else there.
Yeah, number 6 is Forest Hill Road. This is,
Let's see.
yeah.
Yeah, last time we just determined that it was probably better to have an official.
Yeah, Randy met with the architect, on the site, and, they proposed, when we required a fence along that entire property line between this property and the neighbor. Turns out that to put a fence in there, remove a bunch of trees. And so they went out and verified that, and that that's definitely the case. And so they proposed a little different variation where they put a fence up from the basically right of way of Forest Hill along their property line back to the rear of the neighbor's house. And then they would add landscaping and some trees and things, bump up the buffer a little bit. So what is that is different than what required last time we talked. And when we looked at it, the neighbor's property has got, I guess you call it an improved area where he's got his house and then a backyard. And then beyond that, it's just woods. So it didn't make any sense to put a fence up back where the woods were. So I think the staff's position is that what they're proposing will meet the requirements, meet what we're trying to achieve. I don't know, we've not heard from him.
I have not heard anything from him.
If he okay with it or not, but,
So 100 feet does not get the backyard, it only gets to the back
Back
of
of
the
the
house.
house.
yeah.
Yeah, this is,
But
you can
100 feet
see.
is also where the problems start with tree removal.
Well, that's where the house is, so that's where any effect they've got.
Everything else is pretty much wooded and
Does
stuff
that get his
anyway. So-
backyard?
Well, not, his backyard is right here. Yeah, that's what they were kind of talking about, was this whole, so they would end about right here.
I think we need to get his backyard anyway.
But I totally agree with that.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, the next item is number 7, number 8, go together, one of the rezoning, one of the conditional uses on Allen Road. This is for, the addition of a butane tank storage tanks. This is an existing, fuel storage, distribution operation. And they need to add some, butane tanks, additive to gasoline. And it's currently zoned M1, which, the requirements, for M1 are more strict for flammable liquids, so, it can be zoned M2 with additional use, meeting requirements that are imposed for storage of flammable liquids.
What is the ones that are already existing?
M1.
One?
We took our points into already. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's surrounded by similar uses and M2 zones, so in both cases, for the zoning and the conditional use, we didn't see a problem. We've met with the applicant several times, they just had a pre-development meeting with all the agencies, and, not sure if it's heard back from the fire department yet, but, they've been meeting, and they the meeting requirements of the fire department has.
Yeah, he's gonna stop that before he gets to that residential area. Is that right?
Yeah. He'll meet the distance requirement
Okay.
for,
I'm just looking at the aerial and I don't have anything to judge how far that is, but on the property that's already adjacent to the west, you can see that there's a substantial amount of buffer there.
right. And where's the location of the tank will be, it's going to be interior on the lot, so,
This area is.
any questions on that one? No, please. Okay, then item number 10 is, this is an event center, in the C4 district on Harrison Road. Randy might want to cover this. The zoning has received some complaints about this operation.
Prior to the application,
Yeah.
so.
They're already using it for the purpose.
We received complaints from the sheriff's department. Sheriff's Department.
Have a front view of the building.
Yeah. It used to be a car wash.
Oh, yeah, then I remember seeing it.
Just like there's something like a bar.
Mhm.
I had a couple of people call me, the county hotel guys, they're calling me. But they have five of them.
Yeah, that's, we got the complaint from the sheriff's department. And it literally was a car wash. I mean, there are no windows or anything in it. I mean, it's truly a garage. Yeah, exactly. It was a detail shop.
There's no. No wonder they cleaned up.
That's all we got.
We're gonna adjourn.
Sure, that's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is for 2476, right? Okay. Pause the recording for right now.
AJP. Hey Jane, how you doing?
Hey.
Yes, sir. How about you?
Yeah. Feel like.
Oh, me too. I know.
They were basic, it could be gone for long. At least you get the proper again. Take on anyway.
Right. Well, I think we're supposed to have some cooler weather later this week. That'll be nice.
Yeah. I like being a hitter.
Yeah. So this is what you're talking about right here, right?
Over here.
Okay, gotcha.
Let me drag
I
it.
saw that and I wasn't. I didn't even see this back here.
Yeah, we're good. Well. Oh, there we go. It's time. Yeah. Let's see how it's coming up.
Yep.
You should be able to hit You can either control it like this, or control it.
Yeah, just-
Yeah.
I think I kind of like that little mouse. I'm not sure yet. It was a little different, it was a little
There's-
different, but
There's a little piece of plastic that's missing
Uh-huh.
right there that makes it so much easier. Now you kind of have to lift up the back end or it gets stuck. But with that little plastic piece, I love that mouse. All right, so you're good to go there. Yep, recording paused.
yeah.
We're live. Hey, Butch.
Just open them back up whenever we do.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am, we're good
What
to
you
go.
got going? Anybody out there?
Yeah, I got two for the first three items,
Okay.
one for the next item after that. And all it got. I think they all can come in here. I got two for the very last item. Maybe they're gonna come in or wait. Yeah, I think there's enough to fill it all.
Oh, my God. Okay, we all ready to go. I got a baby shower, I got a baby shower. And I make sure everything's over at my house. Then we have a base. And so. Where's my hose? I don't know, just rip it up, put it all in, do this whole, everywhere, yeah. I want to get paid to attempt it, that hands-on will help. Let the. Like it room for you, let them look first. And we find out if we get to go overboard. That's what we got to do. Yes, you are. There you are. Almost there, we won't have any more. Well, next will be great. Right. Yeah, right. Emma, but
How you doing?
Good. How you?
Awesome.
Couldn't be better.
My wife has it actually.
I'm gonna get like that.
It's the new thing. Me young.
Nothing's working.
Oh, yeah.
We don't go anywhere, we don't do anything.
Huh?
We don't go anywhere, we don't do anything.
That's the norm, you get on my nerves,
Yeah, me too.
but I gotta go to DC next month,
Oh, you have to.
and I'm going on the 11th, coming back. That's Saturday, 14th, and we're Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know.
You gonna fly to Macon on that?
No, I couldn't find the deal. I found one of those water getaway from Southwest, I got a round trip for $97.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Oh.
Mhm.
Start recording. I said I turned the recording back on for Zoom now. Jack had a PowerPoint pulled up, 2476. So we'll show that one. Yeah. Sign up sheet. Wow.
One time.
I don't know how they're gonna look like it.
Yeah.
Everybody ready? Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday, October 12, 2020 hearing of the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission. By now, staff has informed you that you must sign in if you wish to address the commission, including both the applicant and the representative. If you have not signed in and intend to testify, please do so now. If several people are interested in an item, it will be helpful if you confer and coordinate your testimony and allow one or two spokespersons to represent similar concerns to avoid duplication of information. At the beginning of this meeting, all persons who have signed in to testify will be required to stand, raise your right hand, and give an oath to tell the truth. Persons seeking to testify who have not given such an oath at the beginning of this meeting will be required to do so prior to their testimony. Any testimony at this hearing by persons who have not given an oath will not be considered evidence in these proceedings. When your item is called, you and your representative shall take a seat at the table and state your name and address before making your presentation to the commission. After the applicant's presentation, persons speaking in favor of an application will be given an opportunity to speak. We will then ask for comments from those opposed to the application. The applicant will then be allowed an opportunity for rebuttal. We ask that anyone addressing the commission speak clearly and directly into the microphone as the proceedings are being recorded. Comments from persons not at the table will not become part of the record and are not allowed. Each time you return to the table to address the commission, you must restate your name for the record. Please be advised that each side, those for and against the application, is allowed 10 minutes to make their presentation. That is 10 minutes per side, not per person. However, each side may request additional time if needed, and the commission will decide whether an extension is justified. Each side will be awarded equal time, so any extensions will be the same for both sides. A timer is located at the presenter's seat. Is used to monitor the proceedings. The green light, when lit, indicates time is available to proceed with your presentation. The yellow light indicates there is 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates the time has expired. During or after the presentation, the commission will ask questions. At the end of the presentation by each side, the commission will allow for questions of any persons testifying for that side by persons representing the other side if requested. Such questioning will count against the presentation time allotted to the side asking the question, provided that the commission shall extend such time as fairness requires. Redundant and or irrelevant testimony or questioning may be limited or terminated by the chair. Hostile questioning which disrupts or interferes with the hearing procedures is prohibited and will be terminated by the chair. Questions should be directed for the purpose of obtaining truthful information for the enlightenment of each side at the commission, not for the purpose of argument. After hearing both sides and after any questioning, the commission will go into deliberations and make a decision. However, the commission may defer or continue the deliberations and or the decision until a subsequent meeting if it determines this is warranted. No further testimony from either side is allowed during the commission's deliberations on votes. We ask the audience to remain quiet during the hearing and respect the dignity of these proceedings. Speaking out from the audience or demonstrations intended to disrupt the hearing will not be tolerated. At this time, we ask everyone in attendance to please silence any cell phones or electronic devices. We have a Mr. Missing today, so we don't have a full one. So if there's a split vote which fails to achieve a majority of 3 votes, either for or against, the item will be automatically deferred. We have any changes to the agenda, Jim?
We do have changes in today's agenda. We've got several moves to ratification that we voted on separately at the hearing. That would be number 4, 1060 Brookford Road for variance. Number 5 is the number 9, a conditional use on Industrial Boulevard. And number 11, a variance on Local Commons Road.
Okay. Is there anyone scheduled to be heard today that wishes to defer or withdraw their application? Before we begin hearing the applications on today's agenda, we need to approve our last meeting's minutes. May I have a motion?
I'm sure I move that the minute previous meeting be approved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve our previous meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. All right, before we begin, we have our notary public who's oath to testify truthfully to these resolutions to address the commission. Sheila?
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
All right, Jim, let's hear our first one.
First item is 145 Cold Creek Parkway. This is a conditional use to allow the change in architectural plans from those previously approved in the PGE district of WJ8 Century complete with Cliff, Matterton, SAM.
Let's see. So Cliff Meterroom, application address.
Before you begin, will you give us your name and address in the record, please?
Yes, yeah, it's just 3091 Governor's Lake Drive, Suite 300, Ross, Georgia.
And your name?
Cliff Meterroom.
Okay. It's hard to hear with these things on. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, tell us about your application.
So, this one and the next two are very similar in that, we have, purchased, lots within some of the existing subdivisions that went, neglected, we'll say, in the, 2008, ish timeframe, Great Recession timeframe. And we've been building in several of these for quite some time. But we obviously are a different builder, so we have different plans than what was previously built in these subdivisions. So we're seeking approval on these plans so that we can proceed with our building permits and get these subdivisions built out.
Okay. I believe the commission has some questions for you.
Oh, yes, please.
One of the questions that I've got, is the HOA still functioning in the neighborhood?
The HOA is still functioning, although some of these areas are not as healthy as they could be because they don't have the number of households that were originally projected at this time frame.
So has the HOA approved the changes in
They
the?
have.
Anybody from the HOA here today?
There's no one here in opposition.
Okay.
And then the next question I had, why the proposal on the materials variation, specifically subbing in vinyl siding for hardy and vinyl shake for real shake and the lack of porches on the new proposed plans?
Well, we do have, some, full or larger porches on some of our plans, for variation. So on our elevation B, on each one of these, there are some larger porches, that you can see if you go to those sheets. The vinyl siding is pretty normal thing for us in several markets up in the Atlanta area as well. And is generally accepted by our buyers and their neighbors. It's pretty good looking mastic product. Comes obviously with the color applied and everything else, and looks nice and neat when it's installed, so.
What's the one with the porch?
This is the B, this says it has a porch.
Yeah, so it adds the porch as much porch as can be obtained with the garage on a front load garage. What you were looking at in one of the other pictures was a rear load home in some cases. That's a front load, but there were some on the other side of the street, maybe, where it's there. And if you like turn around.
There's a rear.
Like that one, obviously the rear load, not that, yeah, to the right.
Right, they have a lot of rear loads in that
Yeah, rear
neighborhood.
load.
They were serviced, yeah.
It depends on the lot and how the, subdivision was put together. Like the ones, right there, right and left, and you have some front load as well. So we've got a good mix of product already in the Highlands, subdivision. And, some rear load, some front load as far as garage, and there are some townhome parcels as well that we're gonna be, designing product for. Like that's a rear load, that's got a big giant front porch, but no garage. But there's a little front porch, you got a garage.
All of yours are front load, right?
All of ours on here are front load. Now, we'll need to come back when we have, fit some product for a rear load on those lots that are still out there, that require that product on them. So we'll come back for that, hearing and get those approved, and similar to that issue right there, which is a rear load product.
But I think, from my mistaken, every house out there now has front porch. Whether front load or back wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they do have, and every one of ours, most of them have cover.
So have you done any market analysis for the neighborhood out there? Because looking at the comps, they're pretty rough. They're sub $80 a foot, and I know you can't build for that. So what gives you confidence? Okay, so that's my second question. What's your target price on these units?
So, in Highlands Plantation, we've been selling at the 150, 170 range.
Where is that?
Some a little higher.
150 to 170 a square foot?
150 to 170,000.
So what's that a square foot?
Square foot, that can be, 70 to 80 retail. We build for less than that. So we are the largest builder in Macon. Period. Right now. As far as the number of units.
So these porches, for instance, on this house, you said on the B's are the ones with the porches. So.
The B's have a larger porch than the A's, just generally.
But they're still more or less just this covered stoop, correct?
That's correct. That's the only.
They're not really a porch where you would put a swing or you put a chair.
I would say you could put a chair next to that front door. But it's as much of the house as could be covered with a porch in the previous instance, other than the garage. So that is the A, I believe, and then you go to that one, then you have a larger front porch. So the B will have a larger front porch, just for a variation, you stay away from the monotony.
And these are vinyl shakes, correct?
Yes, they're all vinyl details. And there's the full, again, that's a little bit wider plan. You've got a 2-car garage, and you've got the rest of it covered with more porch.
And this is what was previously approved back when the subdivision was originally.
Yeah, so my next question is why not just use those?
Those are not our plans. We certainly wouldn't be using anybody else's plans.
You could buy them. Maybe.
That, and I don't believe that builder is even in business any longer. So they've got one, so, I believe they closed their doors around that same time.
And I'm guessing you haven't said this explicitly, but the reason you can't use your plans with the previous specs, which would be Marty, and is cost savings?
It would certainly cost quite a bit more, and would price many buyers out of homeownership.
Could you build the current approved plan at your cost point, $78 a foot?
No, I mean, just like if you use, more expensive carpet or imported, French hardwood in your home, it's gonna cost more per square foot, so.
What it costs now to build those things, would you estimate, on a square foot basis?
On a square foot basis, I would say that we are, normally, 60, 70 square foot.
I mean the homes that are.
Existing.
built.
I'm not certain, I would have to price those really to do that quite a bit more, maybe.
150 a foot?
Probably not that much.
100 foot?
Yeah, maybe quite possibly.
So the real price difference between the floodplain and the front side,
Well, yeah, all of those type of details add more, to the product itself is more expensive, now it has to be off and painted and prepped. Same for real shade. There's more maintenance involved for the homeowner, even, on a hardy, because it has to be painted versus the vinyl. And it's a good looking vinyl.
It may be $20,000 a unit, $10 a square foot or more, $15 a square foot or more, just that change.
And then that changes everything dramatically. That changes who can get approved for that type of loan, and if it's even, feasible for us to continue to build.
Tell me how you went about, meeting with the homeowners association, whether it was a meeting or whether it was a phone call to the president of the association to get their feelings on what you want to build out there.
Well, back when we started this neighborhood, I was not present. So this was probably almost 2 years ago,
I mean,
almost 2 years ago.
okay.
So I don't, I'm not certain there now. We recently reached out to them and gave them copies of our plans, and we have a letter back from them in support and approval.
Have you presented that letter to the zoning commission?
Yes,
Is that part of this?
yeah.
It
to the,
was, it's in here.
package.
Let's see. That's from you. I don't have it in the packet.
You have a copy
If
of
you've
it?
got a copy, that'd be great.
Yeah. So, yeah, in most of these situations, just like when you start a new subdivision from scratch, the owner is also the declarant of the HOA. So the owner of the property of the lots is still remains, has the declarant rights.
So they had never sold enough lot for the HOA to actually take over on its own versus a developer. Transfer.
You know, normally the developer or owner will maintain that declarant status until it's fully built out. And then we'll do a proper handover to the HOA, you know, take care of miscellaneous items, you know, left over from development, punch list, and all of those types of things. So you're familiar with that process.
What does that letter say?
It's an email from Harold Groom. I will approve homes of at least 1,200 square feet and the proposed colors are acceptable. Let me know if I can give assistance as you walk through this process.
So the size is the only thing that they were dealing with?
Right, the color, they did not address materials or design.
So the president of the homeowner association, that's the original developer, who is it?
That's the owner of all those lots, basically, that was bought up all the undeveloped lots.
Say that again?
Evidently, Harold Groom has bought up all of the undeveloped lots.
That's correct.
And that's who this letter's from?
Yeah.
It's not a homeowner in the neighborhood. Who sent this letter?
I'm looking for Q-Public here.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood?
Okay.
Does he live in the neighborhood?
I don't know, but I don't think so.
So he's the current owner of the lots in the neighborhood.
Yes, I would assume that this is a very high net worth individual. But
The lots that you're buying and developing? He's the current owner of the lots that you propose to buy and develop?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is, I think he's Groom Transportation, which is shown there. So that's a pretty big transportation company that some of us have heard of before.
Our concern with the HOA was having some validation from the existing neighbors that they're in favor of a pretty major shift in the type of product that's built into
Well,
the
you haven't
market.
gotten any complaints yet.
It's a valid point.
All right, which one, give me some addresses that we can pull up and look at those houses, please.
Let me ask to be clear. Have the existing owners seen the plans?
They've seen them in real life.
So we've actually issued some of these inadvertently
Uh,
at Highland.
Well, for the last 2 years, yes, lots of them.
Okay.
So I'm
Give
hearing,
me some
already
addresses.
feel somebody's out, retirement side, and then.
So let's go to, Ivy Brook Way, Ivy, Brook Way. Um, So this is what kind of brought this up. We've been, and again,
5 what? Bobby Brook?
584
Okay.
Ivy Brook Way. And we'll have to see how up to date this is and everything else, but I'm sure we can find some in there. So a couple of thoughts on this. One, we've been building right next to existing constituents, taxpayers, nice folks of Macon here for quite some time. And then, and now we're kind of out into kind of our own area by ourselves at this point as well. So we at 584.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, so that's probably a little too late.
How many houses of this style have you built on there?
At least 50.
50?
Probably.
We don't know about it?
I would think it'd be in that number or higher.
How'd that happen?
So you could go on possibly Hawthorne Trail,
What address on Hawthorne?
403 Hawthorne Trail. Here it is. Up there, right below you, and you just click on it. Is that gonna show you?
It's gonna show vacant as well.
Try to go maybe where it's disturbed right here on Old Creek. Yeah,
Right here?
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Maybe that'll,
No, their images are from
oh,
2012.
okay, so the satellite is newer than the street view.
So what caused the need to get the zoning compliance now? The new BDS won't issue the permits?
I realized it.
Yeah.
Uh,
When I looked at some that I was reviewing. That were approved.
Yeah, our 622 Ivy Brook Way,
Okay.
maybe that one has been there a little bit longer.
I'm not sure if that's it or if that's the vacant lot there. Is this yours?
No, that one's not ours. Maybe turn around. No, those are those rear loads.
I mean, all this is from October 2012. I don't think
Yeah,
we're
about
gonna
to
get
say,
any
I don't think
closer.
you're gonna get anything there.
So then I understand you said, you know, it will be out of.
Yes, sir.
Are these
I have to
plans?
look it up and give you the exact number. But you have lots of, new taxpayers out there right now living in these homes. The newer taxpayers going in for the last couple of years.
And this was way during, right?
Yes.
That we would have issued them to.
Mhm.
Now that we've did that now.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not sure everybody here too, And Randy's been great, however, very insistent upon us going through this process, so I understand that. Guiding us here, and she, she thought she, put all through her permits, which of course was not what we really wanted, but, and myself and Tammy are, I would say I've been less than a year, with the organization, but we want to do the right thing. I knew, but then also the folks that you represent out there as well. So we're taking care of homeowners, and we're putting happy new homeowners into new homes, and we're taking care of vacant land that has sat out there for quite some time.
I have not gotten any complaints.
Okay. All right, any more discussion, gentlemen? All right, and there's no one here to oppose? All right, I need a motion, John. One way or the other.
Given the fact that this already happened, do we do all three in one motion, or?
Okay with Jim?
You need a motion and vote for each item.
For each item, okay.
I mean, obviously I had a lot of concerns in pre-meeting.
Yeah.
I'm still not thrilled about it, but I mean, the fact that it's already happening, the fact that it can build so cheap, which Ashok and I need to go down and work on your team a few days to try and figure out how we can get down there. And it seems to me like the market's already fallen that $78 a square foot when we're looking at comps. If that's something they can sell profitably, I imagine this is the only product you could build that even get close to that. Right, so to enforce the original material specifications, I think would bring development to a halt out there. But the market's not there for that product. And value's already been lost on the ones that are at that higher spec. So, I mean, the bottom line for me is I can live with it. What about y'all?
I agree.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
I concur.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a conditional use at 145 Cold Creek Parkway to allow change in architectural plans from those previously approved in the PDE district.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use for 145 Cold Creek Parkway. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion at 250 Skyhawk Lane to issue a conditional use to allow change in architectural plans from those previously approved.
We have a motion and a second to approve a conditional use at 250 Skyhawk Lane. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion at 504 Kinsale Court to allow, to issue a conditional use to allow change in architectural plans from those previously approved in the R1 AAA district.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve a conditional use at 504 Kinsale Court. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll be up here again, so for those of you that I'll see again, we do. And we do about 140 or so in our business plan to do right here in Macon a year, 140 homes a year. So we're a big fan of Macon and the infrastructure that you all are built and building here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is number 6, 2074 Forest Hill Road. This is a conditional use regarding revision to condition of approval from a hearing on 6/22 of this year in the R3 district. Latham Architecture LLC is now.
Hello, I'm Joe Rainey, PO Box 205, Dozier, Alabama, 3628. Just here to make a minimum, I guess, an adjustment to the prior condition, the conditional use.
You're the current owner, correct?
Yes, ma'am. like John Burton, the other things he has. That's really what we're here for, just make an addition amendment to that, to put in 100 linear foot, I think, 15, 6-foot, evergreen trees. I think originally we put in, we were gonna do the entire length of it, what was requested. And going back and looking at it, a lot of it's already got vegetation growing. In order to put the fence in, all the way down the line, we had to cut out all the vegetation. Or a good bit of it.
So you don't want to start it down here, you want to just do it just in the line where his yard and stuff is,
Yes,
cover his yard.
So I believe it's approximately about 100 foot, but once we put in about 6 foot tall down here fence.
Will you go to the, end of his lot or cleared lot?
It really is, I have to measure it. So
Not just the back of his house, but beyond that so that you, can't see his backyard.
basically, yes, I'll make 100 feet, but it will cover the majority of all of that, if not all of it.
We have opposition. Is the adjoining homeowner here today?
He's not signed in and I have not seen him, so.
That's my only,
Yeah,
that would be a condition for my approval too, is that the fence start at the same line as the front of the house and extend through the cleared portion of the backyard.
Yeah, that
The
would
front
be
of the
beyond
house to the
pool
back
here.
or the front yard?
No, I'm okay with.
The front of the house
Yep,
to the backyard,
Yes.
to the wherever has maintained the backyard.
yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
As long as there's no existing, undergrowth trees and so forth, we gotta clear out any more time on site. We have to clear anything out back there, it probably wouldn't make sense to do that.
Let's
Because they were
see.
clearing everything out, try to put the fence in.
Let
But I don't think,
me,
it's pretty open back there in some areas. We covered the majority of this whole area, so I don't know.
we've got photos, so. It's a little lag, sorry about that. So,
My preference would be
This
for
is his
staff to
yard
exercise
here.
their best discretion about the
Yeah,
maximum
so-
fence we can achieve. I mean, I
Well,
agree.
Towards the
There's a
back,
big
it starts to get a
Tree.
little,
To
yeah,
stop
And
progress,
Stop
right.
the fence line.
see the,
Brandon,
this
did you-
house here.
Brandon, can you go out there?
I did, I took this. So really and truly, if you get beyond really where you start to see this, you're gonna have, this is about the end of this.
That looks clear to me.
Yes,
Yeah, right there,
ma'am.
that's what I'm saying, that's about where you see this utility building, about the end of this maintained yard.
Okay.
Probably about the right area, not have to remove trees.
Because you see him trying to stay.
I think so, yeah. I mean, although looking at this picture, it seems that's easily achievable to extend the fence to the end of the cleared yard.
Yeah.
Well, the key thing is that we don't know, the commission doesn't think it's
necessary to run the fence.
entire length of the property.
Okay, yes.
There's some portion of that that makes
Yes.
sense. And you're given that flexibility to work that out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you get to portions like this where it really makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's approximately about 100 foot. Okay.
Yeah.
We put in, cover that area.
It should, but yeah, we'll, Seth will be on site to make sure.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody here to speak?
No one's here. No one signed in.
Okay. All right, any more questions? Any more discussion? I need a motion then.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve revisions to a previous conditional use at 2074 Forest Hill Road to reduce the length of fence to a length that is necessary to screen the existing residents and the backyard from the property and allow staff the discretion to work with the property owner to achieve the most suitable version of that proposal.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve a conditional use, allowing a revision to conditions of approval on 622 regarding the placement of, or the extension of a fence on the property line at 2074 Forest Hill Road with staff discretion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried. Thank you very much.
Hey, we have two items that are together, zoning and conditional use, so it's item number 7 and number 8. 2476 Allen Road, the zoning from M1, light industrial, to M2, heavy industrial, to allow the addition of butane tanks and an existing facility. South Florida Materials Corp., the synergy is on the applicants, and then along with that, same address is conditional use to allow the butane tanks.
All right.
I have a PowerPoint. I do.
Good afternoon, everyone. These strange times we're living in. I am Duke River, and my address is 231 Riverside Drive, and I represent South Florida Materials Company doing business for Synergy, the applicant in this case. With me today are the Synergy team, led by Rick Vogel. And we are here to ask for two things. One is a rezoning from M1 to M2 on the northern part of this property, about 13.5 acres. And also conditional use for the construction of two 30,000 gallon butane tanks. I'd like to explain why they need that in a minute. The applicant has been in this location for about almost 10 years, since 2011. It's a fuel distribution center. They do business in Florida, Alabama, and New Mexico in fuel distribution, marketing, biodiesel, production, fuel mixing, which is the purpose of these butane tanks. And this is one of 4 fuel terminals on this location in South Bibb and Allen Road. That's fine. The way that this works in terms of what they use it for now is pipelines are in this area. This is their property right here, goes down that way. This is the production part of the property. To the north, you got Magellan and another fuel distribution company. This is Allen Road right here. And so trucks come in this way, and there's also a pipeline that runs this way. And they take the fuel that is delivered by truck and pipeline. They do different things to it, which I'm not trying to talk about right now, in terms of additives, mixing. And the goal is to have different types of grade fuel, to help with fuel economy, to help with better running engines, things like that. That fuel leaves that property and is distributed to retail outlets, including gas stations, obviously. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Right now, on site, and that's a picture of the site right there, there's about 7.5 million gallons of storage capacity that's existing there right now. The ask today is to allow for conditional use after if rezoning is approved for about another 60,000 gallons of fuel to be butane in 2 different tanks. Next slide, if you would. Right now, we're asking for a rezone of 13.69 acres in the northern part. We're leaving the southern part alone, which is right now M1, again, for the 2 30,000 gallon tanks. I'll talk about this in a minute. The safety and quality control of this particular business is pretty involved. It's highly regulated. As part of this process, Synergy has been in contact with everybody from Bibb County Fire Marshal, State Fire Marshal, EPA, Department of Natural Resources, and anybody that you can think about to make sure that what they're doing is in compliance with any regulations. It's all been checked off. They obviously have to report back once they construct it, the rezoning is approved. Next slide. Thank you. This is a graphic illustration of the zoning right now. You can see, I'm not sure you can see it on well. You see where Synergy is at M1. To the west
is Walthall, that is M2, currently zoned M2. To the north is Magellan Terminals and NPLX Terminals, also fuel distribution terminals. A little bit to the east of those, they're M2. To the east of those is another M2, which is a truck and trailer center, which does a lot of maintenance on trucks and trailers. To the east, down below, you'll see the Jones Company, that's M2. So it's surrounded on three sides by M2 districts now, including businesses that do virtually identical things. Matter of fact, I think on Magellan, this commission approved a rezone conditional use and I think a variance to allow Magellan, I think back in 2017, to build a 4.5 million gallon tank. So this area is already rezoned primarily into, and this would be in compliance with surrounding zoning. To the south, you'll see R1 AAA, that is currently vacant. There's about a 400-foot buffer to the south, wooded buffer between the operations part of this business and that R1 AAA. You would skip a few slides, keep going. Go back one if you would. That is a comparison slide of the two tanks that would be built to the right, those two little bullet tanks. And if you look to the left of that slide, you'll see them in size compared to what's already out there right now. So it's not a very intrusive or expansive addition. It's a very minor in terms of percentage, both capacity and size addition to that property what's already out there. So the standard, as you know, there are 6 standards for resolution for rezoning. The first one is 1-1. Right? Whether the rezoning proposal will permit a use that is suitable in view of the use of the development and development of adjacent to nearby property. As I said, on 3 sides, it's already M2, substantially M2, and the surrounding businesses are either in identical or relevant businesses to the one that's already there. Standard 2. Whether the zoning proposal will adversely affect the existing use or usability of the adjacent nearby property, it's the same thing. It's not going to adversely affect the surrounding properties because they're already doing similar businesses. As part of the conditional use, which is the next hearing, I'm going to talk about it now, the location of these particular tanks, which is about right where my pointer is, are in compliance with the requirement that they're more than 500 feet from a residential zone district. So they're definitely going to be placed around that area right there. So they're going to be more than 500 feet from another residential district. That standard. Whether the property be affected is economical as it exists. Clearly, they're using the property economically right now. The reason they need this rezoning is because the type of fuel grade, flammability grade is beyond the conditional use of an M1, and they have to have it to do this type of business. What they do with this fuel, if you go to the next finger, there you go. No, I'm sorry, next slide. Go back one, there you go. Is when the fuel is delivered to that front car right here, if this is rezoned and they build it, it'll be delivered here. There's a piping system that goes to the existing back tanks. And the fuel tank is mixed in, and the process occurs by which they get it through that piping system to the back to get the type of fuel grade they need. It's only occurred during the winter months, like all year long, about 4 months a year. And it's primarily, again, to improve fuel efficiency in the winter months for vehicles. Next slide. Whether the zoning can result in excess or burdensome use of existing streets. Presently, this is in the application. There was a traffic study, and I think there's about, Allen Road has about 76,000 trip capacity a day. Right now, it's being used about 5,000. During the winter months, this would add about 5 trips a day. So it's a very minimal impact. The staff didn't have a problem with that in terms of transportation. One more slide. This shows, in line with the transportation, that you're going to come in, the trucks are coming in right now and are looping around where that loop is shown on the left part of the slide. The fire marshal has already looked at this particular egress and ingress from the trucks. There's going to be no backup on Allen Road. And again, it's going to be minimal, it's about 5 extra a day. And what they'll do, they won't stack, so they'll be held in the back while a fuel tank truck comes up, will be stopped by a traffic light. They'll unload the butane and then take off for the next one. So they're not going to be stacked. And again, the fire marshal looked at that plan. And next slide. The land use plan, this is noted in the staff report, has this entire area as light industrial to heavy industrial, which is consistent in this application for them too. Finally, the catch-all, which is there anything else that would impact your decision? The main thing I want to say, I said it before, is they have talked to, and they will continue to speak with, if you do approve the zoning and conditional use, with various regulatory agencies that obviously are very interested in regulating this type of thing very highly, including the fire marshals and the DNR and the EPA. And the staff reports that I'll conclude says this is both consistent with the land use plan as well as the surrounding development and future development. I would respectfully ask to be approved in conditional use. And I'll entertain any questions.
Gentlemen, any questions?
I have a question for staff. Do we have LPG tanks on any of the adjacent parcels out there?
Could not tell you.
Don't know. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, because it is different than gasoline, right? This has got to be stored under pressure versus the gasoline that comes into those giant tanks is not.
Yeah, and that's in your terms of safety concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you, if you don't mind.
That'd be great.
Rich, talk about your safety protocols.
All right, I got a little protocol here myself. Were you here when we swore everybody in?
He was.
He was?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Give us your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Richard Vogel. My home address is 6961 Northwest 68th Manor in Parkland, Florida. I came up here for this.
Well, I'm glad we gave you.
Yeah, well, I love the weather. Thank you so much. What a nice change.
He was talking out right downtown, though.
Yes. So.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, your specific question is?
I just wondered about the differences. I mean, obviously storing LPG under pressure is very different from what you've got in the larger existing tanks where you've got unmixed fuel. What are the different safety requirements or regulatory burdens that you're going to face having LPG on site versus what you've got now?
There is certain different type of security requirements that will have to be by our security plan. There will be certain programs we have to look at as far as modeling for any type of release, and we've done some of that already beforehand. But that all goes through our safety plan. We have to submit our whole design plan to what they call CFAS for security, and they approve that. So we go through all those mechanisms. We have SPCC with all these acronyms. If I go spell them all out, I'll only get more confused, or integrated contingency plan. But all these plans are for the facility and submitted to the Department of Transportation, Homeland Security, and DNR. They all look at those, they approve of the plans and the concept before we put in. Now, pressurized is a different tank, which is why we want to put the tanks in. We don't want to come in with a truck, just mix it that way. We want to bring it into a tank so that we can control the mixing process. And that's our design plan. So there's process safety management plans that need to be put in place. We have our safety director here as well. And you can probably answer it if you want to get to more in the weeds of that, but there's a litany of regulations and guidelines.
Does your company have any previous infractions on record for LPG incidents or for failures to adhere to the safety plans from any regulatory agencies, or have you had any actual safety impacts from LPG operations?
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Chair, that's all.
Okay. All right, anybody have any more questions? Is there anyone else to speak?
No one in opposition.
No one in opposition. Fire representative here?
Yeah, Lily's back there.
Really? You're hiding. I knew I saw you come in. You got any issues you want to address?
I'll be honest with you, I think she's talking about that there on this site, but I'm not sure, when you said the fire marshal, were you talking about the phone, or have you reached out to state fire marshal?
But
Both folks, and one thing you got approved.
Okay. All
we
right.
have both on top.
Anybody else?
I have a question again.
Okay.
Looking at the surrounding properties in two other different, zones in Quebec.
I knew you were gonna ask that, and I don't have to, I don't know. I don't know. That area, I will say, has developed in a strange way because, you know, you've got all these different properties that have rezoned at different times over 50 years or more. So, that's why it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of stuff out there now.
And the R1 triple A is undeveloped and the likelihood that these residents.
Yeah, and that's probably the oldest zoning out there, except maybe some agricultural stuff in there somewhere, but, and that's a case of where originally the property developed as housing, and then over the years, it did, it changed, through the rezonings over the years.
So the tanks that are gonna be put in, they would be within the developed area already?
That's exactly right, where that pool is, right?
Okay, all right, very good. My concern was getting down in here close to those residential areas, even though, they've been there forever. We just want to be good neighbors. All right, y'all have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve a rezoning at 2476 Allen Road from M1 to M2 to allow the addition of butane tanks.
We have a motion and a second to rezone from M1 to M2, 2476 Allen Road, to allow addition of butane tanks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve additional use at 2476 Allen Road to allow the addition of butane tanks for liquid petroleum distribution terminal in an M2 district.
We have a motion and a second to approve a conditional use to allow the addition of butane tanks for liquid petroleum distribution terminal in an M2 district at 2476 Allen Road. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Next item is number 10 at 6050 Harrison Road. This is a conditional use to allow an event center in a C4 district. John request Greer, official business and yeah.
All right, will you give us your name and address to the record, please?
Julius Ray Wilson, address 38 Rivermont Road, Julius Rivermont Wilson.
All right, tell us about your project.
The official business event center, it definitely started off as kind of like a car wash detail. Due to this, the goals of John Reed Ray was on, and some other things that he wanted to do. He was looking at the, doing it as an event center or community center. Because we did some fundraising events there to raise some money, for a friend who got hurt with gun violence. Did a Juneteenth event there. It was almost kind of a fashion show outside. And in that area, there really isn't a lot of places to do things of that nature. So it kind of shifted with the open space. So it brought to his attention that he needs to get rezoned. And that's when he went into asking questions and trying to do it the right way. And talking to different people and making sure that he was in line with what he needs to do to get the money. So that's why we're here today, is to make sure we get feedback from you all, what we need to do, we can handle the business and make sure it's all right.
All right, you've got a building with no windows and no HVAC that I can see. How do you plan to have an event center in a building like that?
I think the, HVAC was installed, as far as windows, I'm not sure as far as windows, these deep windows.
Where's your HVAC?
If you was trying to go to the last, what probably would you run with it? It's actually, in process, I kind of hear off on it.
Where? Yeah, if you're gonna speak, you need to come and, give us your name and address.
Okay. Jerry Rivera, down there, just what, about 30% road, and it goes to 1, 2, 3. I was in the process of getting, HD system on installed, but I pretty much got postponed it, due to the zeal. I was going to be able to get it zoned first. Didn't want to invest too much more money into it if I wasn't going to get it zoned.
Okay, just a minute. You said?
No, over here, Joe was, gonna be your, entrance and exit.
Well, around where it will be a catcher exit if necessary. Well, around the other part of the building, that's actually at the back of the building. That's actually up front. It has 2 double doors with exit signs, so. But it's actually 2 more overhead doors in the back also, so it's actually 4, and it's 2 regular.
Drive-through car, right?
Yes, sir.
Since you've pivoted into operation for events, have you had any incidents with law enforcement on the property?
Yes, sir, I have. But it was, I was not knowledgeable of proper paperwork and the proper, procedures and what about doing things. But now that I'm educated, that's why I'm here today, to try to do everything the right way.
So only one time?
It was a couple weeks ago. Okay, wait, I spoke with, I spoke with, 2 people on 2 different occasions. And, each time it was like a learning, like stepping stone. And each time they came, they just pretty much educated me on.
Who was that? So they can, who?
The law enforcement. Different,
Sheriff's office?
Yeah, sheriff, yes. And it was pretty much just, pretty much gave me warnings. And, the last time I spoke with them, they pretty much asked them that they could just give me, a package showing me exactly, because they was telling me verbally, but I didn't quite understand, so I was trying to reach out to different people, but I just didn't know who to reach out to. And on the last, I won't say incident, but on the last visit, they pretty much brought a package with them, and it I pretty much read it and pretty much broke everything down, and I pretty much received to the right way of doing things.
What kind of incident? You said incident.
Well, like I said, I don't want to say incident, it just came by, because I'm assuming, different people were calling in, telling me their business, calling in, complaining.
Was it noise complaints or what?
No, they weren't noise complaints, they just pretty much.
Complaining that you weren't licensed to be running events.
I had a proper license, which at the time I wasn't aware of, and that's why I'm taking,
Have you had a fire inspection?
I had one, for the, actually got this on for the detail shop, and I actually, well, actually, the reason license for the detail, shop also. And now I'm trying to move on to the community center,
Right, so have you had a walkthrough with the fire department for this use? I mean, one of the things that I'd be concerned about is you're paying for a conditional use that may not be useful to you at all after the fire department looks at it.
Okay, well, I don't know if he went through and actually looked through, like, for this particular business, but he walked through it and looked through it for the,
There are hugely different requirements for a detail shop versus an event center for life safety.
What is the interior of the building? Is it a big open space?
pretty much big on the place. It's actually divided also. It's pretty much, it's open. It's pretty much open, but it's also divided.
Are you doing food prep or you
Oh,
have
no,
a
sir.
is there a bar?
No, sir.
How, you had about the food.
Person renting it for right now, alcohol, right?
Yes, sir, but, it's gonna be broken in the contract. I have a contract. It's gonna be broken in the contract stated in right. Depending on the type of event, for every event, man, alcohol, a certain event, they name one alcohol, and the contract will be written up. They have to go keep the right procedures, the right paperwork, the right permits to have alcohol on the premises.
So during the day, it's a detail shop, and at night you can rent it out, or how would that work?
Well, that was the initial plan. First start, like I said, it started off as a detail shop, and I was just raising money, like I said, had to have fun, and I was gonna save the money, saving the money to turn it into the event center /
Gotcha.
charity event center.
So you wouldn't be operating them.
If I get the approval, you no longer get a detail shop. It'll just be more of an event center and charity event center.
So, and all of your food service would be catered?
So pretty much be catered.
Yeah.
That pretty much up to whoever.
Whoever's renting it from you.
Do you own the building or are you renting it?
No, sir. I'm leasing it to own. I'm actually in the process of going to get a power repair for that also. I had to go to my credit score to get a lawyer, and now that I have the correct credit score, I'm going to try to see potentially buying.
You say you have a contract that, you come into the people renting for the event center, do you have a contract with you today?
I didn't have it, but I do have it. I do have it written up already. I can pull up on my email possibly. But I don't, this is my first time, going through this, and I apologize for not being proper. I just didn't know this shit. I didn't.
We really was open car wash there, right? It was, originally it was open car wash, when you closed the building.
It was already a car wash.
It was open car wash, right?
Yeah, automated car wash. But it's been pretty much gutted all the way out. So it's pretty much just open space for potential, pretty much for anything.
Who did that?
I'm not sure who did that.
Oh, let's look and see who that is. Hey, yeah, probably somebody actually got a, no zoning permit required to enclose it. But I don't know. I'd have to look back. Let's see when I bought it. Let's see.
Does your plan include having outside events on the property? Or just-
Potential outside events, and, it was pretty much, on the outside, you can see it on the parking, you can see the parking. It's like the, fashion show, just for like the runway, and it'd be like potential, like more seating for outside events.
Do you plan to run any events in the facility that are not rentals? So producing your own programming? Do you plan to do any of your own programming? Do you plan to use the building in an instance where it is not rented to someone else?
Only dealing with charity events. Charity events every once in a while. Actually, been doing it about 3-4 months now. Outside of trying to just deal with fair. Once a month, my business is called Fisher Business. Once a month, we pretty much choose just random individuals. I'll make the Facebook stand, this is once a month. Taking, any family or any individual or anyone in need of any type of help. And we pretty much come together and try to put together, if it's not financially, we put help in any kind of way. But most of the people get like they financially need help nowadays. And we just put together a small, like, we got a small people, pretty much 15 with a small amount of money and help us out with disability. We also have, like I said, we have 3 families already so far. And with the, with some of the proceeds with the event center, when it is turned out, I will use some of that money to go towards it also.
What kind of business license do you have to run these, this event center so far?
I don't have, any license so far. I mean, that's the whole, reason we got to try to.
Step one. We're step one. We are step one. He can't get any, he can't get any licensing until after he has his own.
Okay.
Well, I guess the goal, we have received some advice from Commissioner Watkins, and some people was, the goal was possibly to get as much information as possible, get a table, so that we could do it the right way. That was kind of, that's why he stopped everything once he got some feedback, making sure some of the other people, like, hey, if you're doing this type of event, you need to do this, take a step back and do it the right way, and that's what he did. So it's been about 3 months now, just no type of, even the detail, I mean, I could even stop the detail on the details in the cars.
All right.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Tim, do you have anything? Okay. Is anyone else to speak?
Speak in opposition.
All right. If there's no further questions, I need some sort of motion.
This seemed like a really bad idea when I read the staff report, and all the attachments. Listening to them now, I mean, it's cool how creative you've been to try and find a market where you are. I think it's a really creative reuse of a very strange building, right? The pictures in the business plan actually look pretty cool. I can see how that would be an unusual event center. And you still got a whole lot more hoops to jump through than just us from business development services and the fire department to make sure you can do this safely and that people can.
How are the restrooms? How do they?
The restaurants.
Restrooms.
Oh, restaurant. Oh. Yeah, I wish I had.
You can have their own
Is this it back here in the?
No.
They're in the building.
They're inside.
It's inside, yeah.
Okay.
It's inside the building.
Is it a 2-piece or one, I mean, two two-piece?
As right now, it is, one, my restroom, with the sink,
Thinking of toilet?
But I plan on, across from, I plan on having several, so it can be available and things separate. But
Okay.
Building code will require that, so probably the health department, depending on what the occupancy load is
Right,
anticipated to be. So
yeah.
you may have to add some stuff, or it may reduce the amount of people that.
I mean, that's my concern is you got a lot.
You
It's
still got
not going
a
to
lot
be
to do.
exactly.
yes, I was willing to, my goal, I was already focused, once I'm focused on something, I just keep doing it until, I just want to keep trying until I'm accomplished the goal.
I do have one additional question. How do you plan to control the crowd and the parking lot? I know you said it is in town, and I know conversations, this kind of thing, but there will be parking lot.
Correct.
There will be realistic, whoever has the dollar rent, you rent. So how would you control on Friday evening, the crowd and parking?
Pretty much, I was gonna get everything up in the country also, but that's not actually already included in the contract. Well, they're rented out there.
I understand the contract, I say, how would you physically control?
Oh, I mean, it would be officers, the way they get to the contract, we'll rent it out, they'll be responsible for having an officer and at least 4 or 5 security, professional security.
So your contract is going to require the renter to provide security for the event.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you're gonna run into is so I don't know, it seems to me they're two very different things. I mean, I can see calling on a neighbor who doesn't have a business license, even though the behavior may not be that objectionable, you know what I mean? And so those are the only incidents that have happened so far involving law enforcement. That doesn't concern me as much as your neighbors up in arms that this use is, eroding their business or preventing them from sleeping or whatever.
But there's a hotel right down here on the corner. Two hotels right down there.
And the other thing that sort of suggests to me that may be the case is the fact that nobody's shown up here today to contest the conditional use, right? I mean, they wanted him to go through the process and get his business license, but it seems like if they didn't want him to operate this business at all, they'd be here to talk to us about it.
Okay.
So,
Well, like you say, with the first step one.
Yeah.
And the good news about it, too, I think, is the way for the residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
We won't be getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I've turned 180 degrees. Plus, you're young, you're ambitious, and you're trying new stuff to figure it out. And I don't want to be the. I don't want to be
You
the.
don't want to be the one that's
Exactly.
standing in your way.
You got a lot longer to run than just this, so I'd like to give you a shot. Keep going.
All right, you have a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve a conditional use at 6050 Harrison Road to allow an event center in a C4 district.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow conditional use for an event center in C4 district at 6050 Harrison Road. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Very much. Good luck to you.
Thank you. So, I know y'all said some stilts. Is anyone reading the context to get the stilts I'm talking about?
Yeah, so Randy can help,
Yeah.
but
Our office again, you email us back and, either myself, Butch, or Ethan will get you all of the steps you need.
yeah, basically business development services, the business license is the bottom of the funnel. So they give you a list, you just have to bring them a ton of paperwork from everybody else's approvals. So, but Randy will get you that checklist, and then you get everybody's approvals one by one, and then you show up to business development services and say, here's all the papers you wanted.
They give you good bookkeeping on the front end, to the camera.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir.
I said that's the biggest
Guy
difference.
from the IRS.
Right.
Listen to him.
But I said if there was one thing I could point out between entrepreneurs who succeed and fail, it's bookkeeping. That's the one thing among the people who succeed.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, ratification item.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ratification items, including a variance to increase the maximum lot coverage at 1060 Brookford Road, a certificate of appropriateness to allow exterior modifications of the fence at 1182 Calhoun Street, a conditional use to allow ammunition manufacturing at 4026 475 Industrial Boulevard, and a variance to allow a swimming pool closer to the 10 feet property line at 7738 Lower Thompson Road.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve the ratification items as discussed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Motion to adjourn.
Do we need to approve this resolution that you got printed?
Oh, no.
You just print that for
That
information.
got in there by mistake.
Okay.
Move to adjourn it.
Wait.
Under discussion, just a heads up, I will be, out of town for the next meeting, it's October 26th. So,
You get to do it again.
so, yeah, it's not a very long agenda, but,
You do have your Zebulon Road
My
Sunday.
favorite.
Can we do it remotely?
don't know yet.
I think we've got a rezoning on that one. Hold on a second, I tell you.
I would prefer to do it remotely if you possibly can, but doing a hybrid is bad because the
Feedback, et cetera.
feedback, we haven't got the equipment yet to make that happen, having people just, halfway here and halfway Zoom, so I want it to be one or the other. So what we do is we look at the agenda, a little bit late, because we want to make sure we have all the complaints or concerns that we know of. And then we just decide that, hey, we don't have any opposition on these, so we can do it at the Zoom meeting.
We've got two rezonings. One is rezoning from M1 to ag to allow for a single family dwelling down here, Walker Swamp Road, off of Street.
Who's doing that? Who's asking that?
Walker Clay, George is the applicant, but George
interesting.
Greer is the applicant.
So it's a
for,
down zoning.
For the owners.
Significant.
That's not, what's his name, order, is it?
And then we've got, the rezoning on Houston Road for conditional use, rezoning from ag to C2, to expand the existing, mini storage.
And we have to do the rezonings in person,
No, not necessarily.
not legally.
Since the state hasn't decided it's totally okay to have some meetings on Zoom, the position that we've taken based on folks' recommendation is that if you've got no opposition, then there's less issue of doing it remotely. So that's why we gauge everything, and
Okay.
we get sure, you know, that.
So we just need to wait till closer to the date of the meeting to find out.
Yeah, see if we have anything.
Yes. You
Yeah.
prefer Zoom or in person?
I prefer in person because,
But I don't know.
but
how that's
I am not
probably-
opposed at all to Zoom when we can do them.
We can do the hybrid with the big laptop.
Okay. Yeah, we're about to get 4 new laptops that will handle some of the issues we had, so.
Because they died.
They'll be fine.
Even if we use, like we're using mine today, if we can use mine until those come in, we're working on that right now. So as long as we've got a laptop and computer, we can do the hybrid.
I really don't anticipate any issues, with the rezoning for the house from road, because the lady that's still there is the one selling them the property, or at least portions of it, so I can get her squared up and some slivers. We got, overnight truck parking and storage on Hawkinsville Road. And that's pretty much it.
It seems to me that the difference between doing it on Zoom or in person is the same difference between doing it with Jim or without Jim. Right? We probably don't want to do contingent stuff if Jim's not here.
Right.
And we don't want to do contentious stuff over
Randy
Zoom,
may have conflict too, and if that's the case, and.
which is not going to happen at all. Okay.
He's just,
Well, that's-
director, so I mean, I'm just giving you a heads up, I won't be here. And then Randy's got a conflict, but
I'm trying to work it out.
Yeah, so it may be that neither of us are here, and in that case, we'll have other staff.
Okay.
All righty.
So we expecting any, everything with property prices.
Zebulon Road doesn't have a drive-through, we're good.
That's everything we asked them for, right?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Just took them a long time to decide to do that.
So, if we do a Zoom meeting, I can.
You can do that.
If we do a Zoom meeting, if nothing's contentious anyway, I don't see any reason for you to interrupt whatever you're doing.
Right.
Seems to me if it's easy, let's do it.
Yeah.
If it's not, let's not.
All right, anything else?